Good evening. Tonight is different kind of lecture. As you see, I'm already sitting, so that's already better. But I'm going to speak about maybe 20 different subjects. Why? Because in each subject I'm going to speak a few minutes. That's it. If I would be you, if you have a pen and a paper, maybe you want to write down some of the things that I'm going to say, can help you later on. I would like to start. I'm going to give you some sgulot.
You mind if you close the door?
I don't mind. Close the door.
Close the door, please.
I'm writing something interesting in the last few days. I want to share some of it with you. First, I would like to start with a question. I'm going to ask you some questions and tell me what you think. A person, in order for him to make Birkat Hamazon, when he finish eating 2 ounces of bread, he has an obligation, woman and man, has an obligation to make Birkat Hamazon. If they only ate 1 ounce, which is 28 grams, 1 ounce, the obligation is not from the Torah, it's also only from the Rabbanan. One of the common mistakes that people make is when they wash their hands, they always make bracha, asher kiddushanu mitzvotav etzivanu al netilat yadayim, right? Everyone before eats bread, but it's not correct. Not always a person is allowed to say bracha. It depends on the amount of bread that he's going to eat. So first, in order for a person to be allowed to make a bracha on netilat yadayim, he must eat 2 ounces and up, which means one full pita bread. You understand? Or a large rye bread, which is 2 ounces. Once you put on a scale, you know what I'm talking about. If he eats less than that bread, he cannot make bracha. He has to make netilah without bracha. Now you may think, what's the problem making bracha? I love Hashem, I want to bless him. Very nice. But the Torah have rules. The Torah have rules, right? Sometimes one thing that will be mitzvah today, tomorrow it's a big sin, right? Today it's mitzvah to eat. Tomorrow Yom Kippur, it's a sin to eat, no? If you go and kill a righteous person, it's a very big sin. If you kill Amalek, it's a very big mitzvah, right? If you have a wife that she's a kosher wife, you have to be very nice to her. If God forbid it didn't work out between you and her, the marriage, you have to divorce her in a respectable way. You must pay her what you promised in a ketubah. You got to take care of the children. You have obligations even after the divorce. But if your wife was not modest woman, she lost all her rights. Not allowed to give her. She lives with nothing. So the Torah is very specific. Sometimes it's a mitzvah. The next hour it could become a sin. Depend. Time makes a big difference. Same thing here. The Torah allows us to make a bracha only when we are full. In order for us to be full, we have to eat at least 2 ounces of bread. Come Chazal and say, some people even 1 ounce is enough. We don't want to take a risk. Let's make it 1 ounce. So this is the rule, remember. From now on, every time you only eat 1 bite of bread, you want to taste, your son want to give you a bite from his sandwich, you don't need no netilah and no bracha. And no last Birkat Hamazon. You say, Amotzi lechem min haaretz, and you take a bite. That's it. It's less than an ounce. For less than an ounce, you don't wash your hands, and you don't make bracha, asher kiddushanu mitzvotav etzivanu al netilat yadayim. Between 1 ounce to 2 ounces, now you make netilah, but you don't make bracha. Between 1 and 2 ounces, which means between 1/2 a pita to a full pita, that amount, 1.5 ounces, you wash without making bracha on the washing, and when you finish, you make Birkat Hamazon. Men and women, and boys older than 6 years old, you got to train them already to say Birkat Hamazon. More than 2 ounces of bread, which is most likely what we all eat when we sit to eat bread, right? We eat more than a rye bread or more than a pita. Or on Shabbat we eat 3-4 ounces of bread sometimes. So we make bracha on the netilah, and when we finish we make Birkat Hamazon. This is the highest level. to always eat, because you don't want any doubts, to always eat more than 2 ounces of bread. Like this, you make bracha on the washing, and you make Birkat Hamazon. So far, everything clear?
What if you're not sure?
You're not sure? You have
How much
to.
you're gonna eat?
You have to make sure before you eat. Always, it's a solid rule in Judaism. Solid rules. A Jew cannot put anything in his mouth before he thinks what he's doing. Because in Judaism, eating, it's a big mitzvah. Not like the Goyim. The Goyim, they eat like animals. They don't make bracha. They don't care what they eat. They have worms, kosher, not kosher, fresh, not whatever they want, they eat. They mix. They don't care. They have no judgments, no rules. Jew, it's a holy machine. It's not an animal. Jew, every step in his life has to report to Hashem when he dies. Why did I do this? Why I came to the lecture? Why I didn't come? Why I stay? Why I left? What did I do after the lecture? Everything comes to consideration in the end. Nothing is disappeared. So a Jew, it's a sophisticated, holy, spiritual machine. He has to report to Hashem for everything he did. That means before he puts something in his mouth, first question, kosher or not kosher. Just because he has a stamp, not necessarily it's kosher. There's a lot of stamps that nobody knows who they are. The Reform Rabbi of Las Vegas. His wife is Christine, and he drives to shul in Yom Kippur. He also has certificate of kosher for his own community. The gays and all the rest of the garbage. So they have also certificate. How do you know? He also writes kosher. How do you know? You ever checked? That's question number 1. So you got to be an expert on the list of the Orthodox rabbis, such as Vaad HaRabbanim or you, Badatz. Many of the kashriyot of Israel are very good. You gotta learn it. You cannot live your life without. If you come to Hashem and Hashem comes to you in your after 120 years and He show you 50 certificates, as you see on all the foods that you buy in the store. What's this? It's kaf shin resh, Hashem, kasher. But by whom? I don't know. But you ate it all your life. Oh, I never thought. Next one. What's this? A K. K means kosher. Not true. It's not kosher. Every Goyish company on pork, they can put K. It's allowed by law. If it's K in a circle, that's already dedicated to the OK. OK, most of the time they're good. There's certain things you have to be extra careful. Depend if it's wine or if it's meat. You want to take another kashrut on it. It's ordinary stuff. You got to learn these things. Agree so far? Okay. Now, before you put it in your mouth, you have to check if it's kosher or not. And it's every hour, every day we eat. It's not something that you do and that's it. It's your life. It's your gasoline for life. Your neshama will function according to the way you eat. So that's one thing. Second, you have to know the amount that you're eating. Third, when you eat, you have to pay attention in how long you ate. There's a lot of rules apply to eating. I'll give you an example. I can eat a loaf of bread the size of an airplane. Finish it and don't have to say Birkat Hamazon. You eat 1 pita bread, you have to say Birkat Hamazon. How can it be? How can it be? I ate the loaf of bread in 1 year. 1 bite, I go back to work on my computer. 10 minutes later, another bite. 10 minutes later, another bite. Like this all my life, every day. I never ate in 4 minutes at least 1 ounce of bread. Never. That's my trick. Lazy, don't want to make Birkat Hamazon. Don't want to be grateful to Hashem. So what do? I take a bite. What is it about? Half an ounce. 1 bite. Wait 10 minutes. Time passed. It's a new start now. Why? Because the rule in the stomach is the stomach needs to receive at least 1 ounce of bread within 4 minutes. There's an argument. Some opinions say 6 minutes. Some 7 minutes. You don't want to take a risk. If you eat and you want to make Birkat Hamazon, you make sure you finish 2 ounces within 4 minutes. That's the best way. The best. 1 pita bread within 4 minutes. Try. If you can, at least 1 ounce within 4 minutes. If not, then you have a problem. You don't have to say Birkat Hamazon. Now you may say, okay, I want to be generous to Hashem. I want to give Him 5 minutes of my life. What's the big deal? Wrong, it's a sin. It's not a mitzvah, it's a sin. You want to do good, you do bad. Why? Because you're ignorant. You don't know halakha. Why? The halakha says in the 10 commandments, the 3rd commandment is that a Jew is not allowed to mention the name of Hashem unless if he has the solid, permitted reason. The name of Hashem, a person, when he says it, he has to shake. It's not a joke. You can say it as much as you want. Therefore, even if you want to bless twice the same blessing, Baruch Ata Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam borei pri ha'etz, and then a minute later you want to say it again, or you're not sure, it's a problem. You're not allowed to say it again. What's the big deal? Hashem, I blessed you. What do you want from me? Even this is not good? It's not good. Why? Because you didn't pay attention when you started. That's solid rules. This is ABC of Judaism, because it's every day. So a person has to think how much I'm going to eat, how much I have, how much time I have. Do I go to, I'm eating here, I move on my road, I get into my car and eat, I change location from one room to the other, I move from the house to the street and come back. There's rules. If a person sat and made a motzi, he's not allowed to leave his house until he finish the bread. Cannot leave the house. He has to stick to the table. If he wants to leave the house, he can only do it if you have another person sitting with him in a meal. And he has to tell him, please watch my seat. And that's the only time he's allowed to leave the house and to return and to continue to eat. If he doesn't do it, when he leaves the house and come back, he has a big problem now. He may have to remake Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz. Big things. And there's a lot of laws. I didn't plan to speak about brachot a lot, just to give you an idea how much a Jew has to learn, just to know the Aleph Bet of every day. So my question to you tonight is like this. A person ate 1 ounce of bread and threw up right away. After 2 minutes, he doesn't feel good, he has a stomach virus, I don't know. He felt that he has to vomit. What comes first? What you just ate. He came out. Does he have to make Birkat Hamazon or not? What do you think?
Yeah. You gotta be full drinking.
So let's start with this. The Torah says, "Ve'achalta ve'savata uverachta et Hashem Elokecha." You have to eat and be full, and then you're allowed to bless Hashem. You have to bless Hashem. Ve'rachta et Hashem Elokecha. When a person ate 1 ton of bread and vomited within a minute, is he still hungry or not? What do you think? He's hungry. He did not digest even a bit in the stomach. Still, just arrived to the stomach, he came out. So he has to re-say Birkat Hamazon. I mean, Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz, if he eats again, and then if he did not swallow it for good, he cannot say Birkat Hamazon. What's the problem? Let me say. No, you're not allowed. It's 4 names of Hashem for no reason. First bracha, second, third, and the fourth. It's 4 brachot in Birkat Hamazon. What happened if a person ate and 3-4 hours later he doesn't remember if he made Birkat Hamazon? He was busy with his customers. Did I say? Didn't I? Did I? Didn't I? What does he have to do now? To begin with, a person has to finish his Birkat Hamazon, the sooner the better. How much, up to how long he has to begin with? 72 minutes. That's the time it takes for the food to digest the first process. 72 minutes. However, since it's an obligation from the Torah, we have a rule. Safek deoraita lechumra. Every time we have a doubt when it comes to mitzvah of the Torah, we have to be strict, not lenient. We don't want to take risk. So we have to say the blessing for Hashem. So the question is like this. 3 hours later, it's more than 72 minutes. Technically, the time is past. So if it would be a cake, no last bracha. If it would be a drink, no last bracha. Fruit, that's it. You missed the bracha for good. You missed it for the rest of your life. You cannot say it. But bread, it's different than all the other foods. Bread, you have an obligation from Hashem to make bracha. All the other foods that we eat, the last bracha that we say is from rabbis, from the Rabbanan. They made that rule. When it comes to the bread, the Torah told you have to say the last bracha. Therefore, even after 6 hours, you don't remember if you say Birkat Hamazon or not, you must repeat it because of the doubt. You come to Hashem after 120 years, He will show you that day, and you found that you made Birkat Hamazon twice. You did not remember, and then He show you, oh, you did. No problem, you don't have a sin. Why? The Torah taught us the rule. Safek deoraita lechumra. Now this is what I have to do. Why? My memory is not so good. I don't remember. Somebody attract my attention. Everything I say applies to men only. Women, however, if they don't remember if they say Birkat Hamazon or not, they cannot say. Why? What's the difference? Women don't get full, they don't have to thank Hashem for food. Right? So what do we learn here? There has to be a reason. The reason is because the sentence in the Torah, it's like this. ואכלת ושבעת וברכת את השם אלוקיך, should eat and be full and bless your God, על הארץ הטובה אשר נתן לך, for the great land that he gave you. Which land? The Holy Land. That's the original way of the bracha. Comes Chazal, Oral Torah, and they say women did not receive a part of the land. When they shared the land in Eretz Israel, who did they give the land to? According to the tribes, based on the fathers. If the father is from this Shevet, from this tribe, and this tribe receive real estate from Tel Aviv all the way to Jerusalem, they give it to Shevet Binyamin. If somebody from Binyamin marry a woman from Shevet Yehuda, doesn't go by the wife. Shevet Yehuda received in the north. I'm just giving an example. You have to look at the map, who received what. Just giving you an example. The wife cannot say, no, we received the land over there. No, you marry to Binyamin, you Binyamin. Ashkenazi marry Sfaradi, she's Sfaradi from now on. Sfaradia marry Ashkenazi, she's Ashkenazi from now on. Everything she did until today has to change according to her husband's rules. The last name goes by the father, Cohen, Levi, goes by the father, the same thing a land, real estate. If you have a part of the land, it goes by your father. So who received? Only men. Comes other rabbis argue that. Say no, there's other rules, there's other proofs that women also have to. So we will never know the truth until Eliyahu Navi comes. But since we have a doubt, we have two doubts here already. First, one doubt, she doesn't remember, maybe she did say it. Second doubt, we don't know what's the halacha. Women has to, or they like men 100% or not 100%. Two doubts already, it's too much. They don't say a bracha. And they hope that they say it. And next time they'll be more careful. This is just to give you an idea. So now, let's conclude that issue before I move to the next one. If a person ate 2 ounces of bread and he vomits right away, right? Do we go by the pleasure that he had in his throat while he was eating, chewing and swallowing the food, goes all the way in? From this moment on, he's obligated to make a bracha? Or we go by how much food digested in the stomach? What do you think? What do you say?
Food in the stomach, the bread, how much it is.
So the point is like this. One of the poskim says that after reviewing this question very carefully from all angles, the answer is he doesn't have to say a bracha. Why? Because the main reason for the blessing is if we got full. There's other reasons, but they're not as important as what the Torah says you have to be full. Since you vomit, you're not full. I'll give you another question. A person in the middle of Leila Seder became crazy. There are people who have on and off. They're normal and then they have an attack. When a person makes mitzvah from the Torah, he has to have his mind for the bracha. If he does it in the middle of sleep, let's assume a person is in the middle of sleep. You saw ever a kid that get up sometimes in the middle of the night, you talk to him and he's still sleeping while he's walking? You ever saw such a thing? Let's assume this boy is 14 years old and in the middle of the day he went to sleep and he got up and he's dreaming and he puts tefillin on. It's count the mitzvah or no? No, it's like a dead person. He has to have the mind for it. Yes, when he wake up, he has to do it again. What happened if in the middle of Leila Seder, we sat on the table at 8 o'clock in the evening, everybody ate matzah, we have to eat 2 ounces of matzah, men, women, everybody, it's a big mitzvah on Leila Pesach. A person had an attack, they forced him to eat while he's not normal. 1 o'clock at night, he came back to normal. Does he have to re-eat the matzah now? Because he wasn't normal when he ate the first amount? Or since he ate, he goes by, he became full already from that. Even when he wasn't normal, the stomach still received it. What do you think? Did he make the mitzvah of matzah of Leila Seder? or he has to re-eat now, make another bracha and eat again from the beginning. Same thing when it comes to the 4 cups of wine. Does he have to re-drink them because he is back to conscious, or same thing if he was drunk or under influence of drugs and now he's sober again? It's normal now. Does he have to redo it, or what he did, that's it? What do you think? The answer is, for sure, doesn't count what he did before. He wasn't awake, he wasn't normal, he has to redo the mitzvah. If not, it doesn't count. So 1 o'clock now he has to do it again, to eat the mitzvah. If he woke up in the morning, too bad. He did not make it. But that's not a sin. Why? Because it wasn't in his control. Unless if he drank alcohol too much. If he puts himself in this situation, it's his fault he missed the mitzvah. But if it's naturally happened to him, what do you want? Anus rachmana patre. You know what does it mean, that sentence? Anus, someone who is forced. Forced. It's not his wish. The goyim handcuffs him. He couldn't put tefillin today. He's in jail. He got arrested. He drove without insurance. He's in jail all day. His tefillin is in a car. They don't give him the tefillin. They don't give him. He cannot make a phone call. No tefillin all day. The day is over. That's it. He can never put tefillin that day. He comes to Shamayim. He doesn't get punished. Why? Anus rachmana patre. God never punish a Jew unless if it's his fault. If it's not his fault, he was forced. People threat his life, kidnap his children, told him if you don't bring $1 million in the middle of Shabbat to this corner and put it over there with your car right now, we're going to kill the boy. What happened? It's mitzvah to drive on Shabbat. It became a big mitzvah right now to drive on Shabbat. And if he points a gun to you and says, I want you also to smoke a cigarette while you're coming, for whatever reason, it's also mitzvah. Why? It's all connected to life-saving. Torah says, Elu ha-mitzvot asher ya'aseh otam ha'adam v'chai b'hem. Those are the mitzvahs of the Torah that the Jew has to do in order for him to get life, should live. Therefore, if the mitzvah threatens your life, you're not obligated until the threat is over. Except 3 mitzvot. Bowing down to idols, you got to die and not do it. Have relation with another woman, she's not your wife. And the 3rd one is kill another Jew. Kill him, if not I kill you. Not allowed to kill anyone. Those 3, that's it. That means Hashem decided that my time is over. But any other mitzvah, he tells you, burn the Siddur, burn the Chumash, burn the synagogue. If not, I'll kill you, you burn. You don't let him kill you. Eat pork, you eat. You understand? So this is another thing. Let's move to the next thing. A meat of a person, cannibals that eat people, in the islands. What happened if a Jew, God forbid, fell with his plane in an island and he saw a dead body of somebody there? Jew, goy, it doesn't matter for that point. And he wanted to eat from it to survive, like they did in the Holocaust. That's what they did in the Holocaust. They ate one another, unfortunately. So there were situations like this. In the time of the second destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, people had to eat their children, unfortunately, because they were hiding for so long in caves, couldn't come out. The Romans were looking all over. There was a question they asked Rabbi Ashri. He passed away a few years ago in Manhattan. I had the merit to meet him personally, to know him personally. He was the posek of the ghetto. They asked him this question: we're allowed to eat one another when a person dies, freeze in a snow. Can we eat one another to survive? Allowed or not allowed? Or it's better to eat peels of potatoes or all kinds of things from the garbage? So the answer was, technically it's really allowed. It's pikuach nefesh, everything is allowed to survive. The problem is that he was afraid that if he will allow them that, you know what would happen? Sometimes a Jew is laying in the snow, he has 2 more hours to live. He didn't die yet. It's like a stick. You know how they looked. He looks like dead, but he's really not 100% dead. What happened? They're going to come, they stick a knife and start cutting him, and they murder him. That's already not allowed. Remember the 3 that I just said? For those 3, you have to die from starvation and not kill another Jew to eat him. Not allowed. That's what he was afraid of. You see, he looked at the whole thing. Somebody else would say, well, the Torah says, pikuach nefesh, everything is allowed. He did not allow. the question that I have for you, a person ate it, is crazy, whatever the reason is, did he make a sin from the Torah or no? Is it allowed? There's any way in the Torah that it's forbid eating people or no? What do you think? So I have news for you. If I come and ask you, tell me please, who is worse? I point in this person, I show you a Jew, that every day he goes to a place where the people are dying over there and take pieces of their body and eat it. Every day. And he's standing right here in front of us. And next to him, a beautiful doctor or lawyer, Jew, could be Bukharin if you want, just to make it more juicy, the story, but drives on Shabbat to shul. Drives on Shabbat to shul. Who's worse in the eyes of Hashem? Huh?
The guy who drives on Shabbat.
Worse than a cannibal. Cannibal is not a sin from the Torah. It's an argument. If it's a sin bichlal, some say it's allowed. The Torah did not come to forbid something that normal person doesn't want to do anyway. What's the point? It's like the Torah say ink is not allowed to be eaten. Ink. Who wants to eat ink? Or they tell you wood. It's not allowed. Wood. Who wants to eat wood? Understand? Torah didn't want to tell you everything else is not allowed. Mud is not allowed. Mud. Mud is not kosher. Don't eat mud. Why? Nobody wants to eat mud. The Torah never told you if you're allowed to eat or not allowed. You don't have a clear restriction. Some say Rabbanan made it forbidden because there was already a situation that people were forced to do it. So there's Isur de Rabbanan. But either way, it's nothing compared to someone who starts his car on Shabbat. And that's what a lot of people don't know. This is just another example to show us how severe is that sin. Next thing, we know about couples that married in downtown Manhattan without a rabbi. Moshe and Miriam decided to get married in downtown. They're only going to make their Jewish wedding in 1 year from now, for whatever reason. But they needed the papers because they want to apply to all kinds of benefits. So they went and married in downtown, but they moved to live together. After 1 year, it didn't work out. They decided to separate. They thought, since they never got married by a rabbi and he never gave her a ketubah, and he never really officially married her in a Jewish way, let her go to her life and let me go to her life. Not that simple. According to many opinions, big rabbis in history, she needs a get from him. Even though it wasn't a Jewish ceremony. No Sheva Brachot, no ketubah, no rabbi, no rings, no areat mekudeshet li, none of these things. They stood in front of a goy, a black goy in downtown Manhattan. You respect her? You know how they do it in downtown, no?
Sign the papers, no?
Yeah, you sign some papers, you promise that you respect her. Ordinary ceremony, 5 minutes and finished. You understand? Like this judge is really respecting his wife. And he asks you to do so, you know. But just for the point, you did it, you lived with her. The fact that you live with her already in a scene like a husband and wife, perhaps made her your wife. And you have to give her a get because of the doubt. Why? Because with married woman, marriage, you don't play, it's fire. God forbid if she considered to be your wife, and then you let her go like this without a get. Boyfriends and girlfriends, it's very common today, unfortunately. One day she gets married, she have miserable life. She doesn't know why. Why? Because she perhaps, nobody knows, that's the problem. No, this is a non-clear halacha. Maybe she's married to the previous boyfriend, and now the kids are mamzerim, chas v'shalom. And this is the opinion of many important rabbis. It's not one rabbi against 1,000. Many important rabbis say he has to give her a get. If I give you the list, you'll be surprised. How common it is? How common? I'm sure you have cousins like these. They live together, right? And next question. You have a Jew that lives with a Goya in the same house, and a very big sin. According to the Zohar, is the worst sin. The worst. Worse than anything you can think of, according to Kabbalah. To live with a Jew, with a Jewish woman, is also very bad, and has another extra thing that he doesn't have with the Goya, that she's nida all the time. She's karet, an extra sin. It's an extra sin. But Goya, because of the impurity of the Goyim, it's a big difference. According to the Zohar, it's an unbelievable sin. Now he got arrested in jail, and he needs to get X amount of money to be released on bail. Comes the Torah and says it's a very big mitzvah to save every Jew from jail. Why? It's called Pidyon Shvuim. You're allowed even to sell the only Sefer Torah in town if there's not enough money to a different town to raise money to save the Jew from the Goyim. Is this beautiful halacha applies to that Jew that's sitting in jail, hoping that a Jew will come up with the money to release him, that he can go back to Christine? The question number one, is this a mitzvah? Are we obligated to get the money to save him, to send him back to dear Christine? Second, is this permitted? But it's not an obligation, but it's a nice thing to do. You want, you do. You don't want, you don't do. And third, is it forbidden? What do you think?
No. You can never make another Jew suffer if he's suffering in jail.
So you say it's an obligation to release him. What do you say?
Same.
What do you say?
I said no, he's going to make a big Avera when he comes out.
So what's the mitzvah? To keep him there. What do you say? To keep him there? 2 against 2. What do you say? Huh? You're not sure. Teko. In the middle. No, what do you say? Keep him there. So Baruch Hashem, the majority knew the halacha. Mitzvah to keep him there. For his own good. Not as revenge. Don't get me wrong. I know first thing comes to your mind, he deserves it. He's evil. He's bad. He betrayed Hashem. Whatever you say, you may be right. That's not the issue here. For his own good. He better sit in jail and do whatever he do over there, eat or sit and do nothing and read newspaper, whatever. Better than be with her and making sins with her. Every time he touched her, Yosef HaTzadik suffered so much not to touch the Goya once in his life. Why? Chazal says, because when a Jew touch Goya, she's tied to him forever in Olam Haba. Can never get rid of that busha, this embarrassment. And if he's a Jewish girlfriend without marriage, boyfriend and girlfriend, also not allowed to release him. What happens if it's a husband that beat up his wife every day? Abuser, he's crazy, he's drunk, he's beating his wife up. You're a neighbor, you hear every day he beat up his wife. If you know you're going to release him from jail, he's going to beat up his wife. Mitzvah to release him because he suffers very much over there. It's a different story now. No Goya, no girlfriend. His wife, he beats up his wife. Mitzvah to release him or not? What? The ladies say yes. I'm curious. What's going on here? I always say Bukharian girls are the best.
I'd rather not.
The best wives.
I wouldn't release it even.
I wish the guys would appreciate it. No? What do you say?
I wouldn't do it even if it was allowed. I wouldn't do it.
Come on. Now if that's the halakha, that's what you have to do. Put your feelings aside. Torah, Judaism is not feelings. It's logic and emet. That's the truth of God. Release him or not? What's the halakha says? No?
Let him stay in jail.
Huh?
Probably a yes.
The answer, like the lady says, the opposite. You leave him there. A Jew is not allowed to beat up his wife. Only in very, very, very rare occasions is allowed to give her a little patch to warn her. But I'm saying that it's such a rare occasion that in today's generation is not permitted at all. In the old days, when ladies were very good, very modest, very righteous, and they knew that this is the mentality of the Torah, that for her own good, maybe once in a generation she get a patch, maybe it was permitted. Today, it won't help anyway, so it's not permitted. Same thing with children. It's mitzvah from the Torah sometimes, if you love your son, to give him a patch here and there. Today, I don't think you get anything by doing it. He will hate you even more. Today, right now, you achieve what you wanted. Tomorrow, he hates you more. He gets to 18 years old, he rebels against you, he leaves the house, he cuts his payos off, whatever he has, and he become Vinny, working in Jamaica, with Chris and Mr. Williams. 5 years later, you come, well, how are you doing? Yeah, come meet my roommate, Jason. You were in yeshiva 5 years ago. What happened to you? It's the father's patches. He meant well. Look what happened. It's reality. Not recommended. Next issue. A woman that breastfeeds babies. For whatever reason, sometimes you see even religious women that are mothers, they go to the doctor, they wait online somewhere in an office, so they sit in public, there's all kinds of people sitting there, and she breastfeeds her baby. Of course, she's not becoming naked, but she's hiding herself, but people are looking at her while she's doing it. It's normal, people are curious. It's not something they see a lot. Goyim, Jews, they watching. Even if she's covered 100%, it's ayin hara for the baby. And the milk is making damage to the baby. It's not helping the baby. Why? Because everything, in order for it to be blessed, has to be covered. If it's not covered, if eyes of people are on it, it's chas v'shalom ayin hara, and it's not good. So the Torah says, there's one more recommendation for ladies that have to feed their babies, to be very careful not to be angry at least half an hour before she's about to breastfeed her baby. If she became angry now, she had an argument with someone on the phone, or with her husband, or with one of the children, and even if the baby is hungry, she better stretch it at least half an hour until she re-feed him. Why? Because once a person becomes angry, every part of his body is like cursed. Inside. Anger is very bad. It causes problems, sicknesses. Shlomo HaMelech wrote, anger is one of the biggest enemies of a person. It changed nature, anger. The nature of a person changed from inside. Things change in his heart, in his arteries, in his veins, in his blood, in his stomach. Constipation, it's a result of anger. Anger and pressure. Why so many people suffer? Hemorrhoids. Why so many people, more than 20% of the people in the world have hemorrhoids. Why? Because they have constipation. Let's create hemorrhoids. People have problems. Why they have it? Mental problems. Worry about money, arguing about money, pressure of life, traffic. It's all build tremendous pressure of a person. Once he doesn't have Torah, he has no medicine. Keeps building up pressure until the body doesn't used to this. Plus, one other reason is that today people don't work physical work. Even people who work outside, right? They don't really work physically. I'll give you an example. A person is a mover. He lifts a lot of heavy things. That's not really exercise. That's maybe exercise for the muscles of the back and some of the muscles in the hand. But that doesn't mean he's really exercising. Exercise means a person that walks a lot, from door to door. Let's say all day he's walking. Or he's collecting tzedakah, he knocks on doors. That's exercise for the entire body. Swims, run. That's exercise that really helps the body. Just lifting heavy things, it makes more damage for the knees, for the back, in the long run. Not every activity is exercise. So a woman has to be very careful in a time of anger not to feed the baby, because it's also damaging. And if not, if she did, she has to wait, better to wait an hour. If she can, she has to wait at least half an hour. And then, before she starts feeding the baby, she has to waste some of it to the sink, not to give him the first milk that comes out. Let some of it go into the sink, and then start feeding him. Right? How many people knows it? Not a lot of people. Then you wonder why the baby grow up the way they are, because the mothers are constantly angry almost every day from the pressure of life and the other children, and she breastfeeds 5, 6, 7 times a day, and she never waits. And so you may say, well, according to this, she will have to wait all day. Because an hour, every 2 minutes she gets angry. What's the solution? She has to work on herself. A Jew that gets angry is equal to a Jew that worship idols. That's what Chazal says. Kol ha'ko'es ke'ilu oved avodah zara. What's the connection? Why when a Jew is angry, it's equal like a Jew that bow down to an idol? Why? What's the connection? Why? Because anger comes from no faith in Hashem. Coincidence. Bad luck. I lost the deal in the last minute. You saw that guy stole it from me. Why me? Why not the other guys? It's all Hashem. You have nothing to do with the guy. The guy it's an illusion. If it wouldn't be him, it would be the hand of Hashem in a different way. A monkey will steal it from you. A dog will bite you. A building would collapse on your head. Hashem has many ways to do what He wants. It happened to you by this guy, the poor guy. He was chosen from Hashem to be the executor. For that he has to cry. That Hashem used him to do such a bad thing, to murder someone. Why Hashem used him? Hashem didn't really use him. Hashem took his wish and put it together to be successful. But that's another issue. Let's move on. We know some of the things the Gemara says that is dangerous to eat. It does not say it's not allowed. It says it's dangerous, such as eat meat and fish together. Together in a plate. Swallow it together, it's dangerous. It's allowed. The Gemara says, Shulchan Aruch doesn't say if you eat it, it's like eating pork or cheese and milk and meat together. That's not what the Halacha says. It just says it's dangerous. Comes Chazal, comes the Shulchan Aruch, come the Rabbanim, say, Chamira sakanta mi'isura. Every time the Gemara says dangerous, it's even worse than non-kosher. Not like people think, oh, it's allowed. It didn't say not allowed. Okay, it's dangerous. I take the risk. No. Chamira sakanta mi'isura. It's very dangerous. Also to eat fish and dairy together. Cream cheese and lax. Or drinking milk and eating fish at the same time, or cheese with any kind of cheese. Also dangerous. Yes, dangerous. So now my question to you is, when a person had a dairy soup, creamy soup, whatever, full of cream, full of milk, and a piece of lax fell in, got mixed with that. Is the soup kosher or not kosher? Technically, I just said it's kosher. Kosher, you cannot say not allowed. It's allowed. We have a rule. Every time something forbidden fell into the dish, you have to measure 60 times against it. Batel b'shishim. From the Torah, I teach you a secret. From the Torah, you don't need batel b'shishim. You don't need 60 times more. You need majority, which means if you have half a glass of soup and one piece of cold cut fell in, and it's a dairy soup, the majority is the soup, even though it's only maybe 4 times more, not 60 times more. It's kosher. The majority makes the rules. Always majority, always. If one piece got mixed with 5, you don't know which one, all of them are kosher. You understand? But Chazal made a fence, so they have a secret, they know the secret, they decided batel b'shishim. My question here, batel b'shishim when it comes to meat and cheese, or something impure fell into something pure, right? Tameh fell into all kinds of, or chametz. Chametz, it's a different story, because even 1,000 times more, it's not cancelled. If it falls in Pesach. If it falls before Pesach, it's no problem, batel b'shishim. But if it fell in Pesach, even you have a dish, a bowl the size of this room, and one drop of breadcrumb fell in, the whole soup is not kosher. If it happen in Pesach, if it happened before Pesach, all of us cook before Pesach, most of us, then you need to have 60 times against it, and then it's okay. But if it happens in Pesach, it's a big problem. But my point to you right now is, we're not talking about meat and cheese. We're talking a piece of lax fell into that dairy soup. Do we need 60 times more, or we don't have to worry? What do you say? Huh? What do you think? Because the Gemara says it's a danger. Do we need 60 times more or no? The answer is we don't. It's enough that we have more than the allowed than the not allowed, it's no problem. So we see that even though we, at least the Sfaradim, are careful not to eat dairy and fish together, don't get me wrong, you can eat right now fish, you rinse your mouth, you eat a piece of bread, you clean your teeth, rinsing your mouth with water or something, you can eat right after that cheese. You don't have to wait. No hour, no half an hour, no 6 hours, nothing. The same thing, you rinse your mouth again, you can eat right away fish, cheese, no problem. But not together. Why? Only God knows why. It's a secret. It's dangerous. Gemara says sakana. They knew all the biology, all the secrets of the body. Chazal, if you read what knowledge they had in medicine, you're not going to believe. They knew every fruit. Before we even knew what vitamins is in the world, they knew which fruit is good for what sickness. Everything. It's secret. It's come from generation to generation. From Moshe Rabbeinu, 1300 years. He went from father to son, from rabbi to student. You read in the Gemara the things they say, you're not going to be... And by the way, a lot of the things the scientists find today, the things that Chazal say, they prove today that that's exactly the same. Like wine, red wine, it's good for the heart. All kinds of things like this. This is things from Chazal already. And let's move on. Any questions so far? I saw some hands. Yeah.
What happens if you got a bowl of chicken soup and like a drop of sour cream or some yogurt?
It's allowed, because the soup is 60 times more than the drop. But if you see the drop flowing on top, even though you have 60 times more, but you see the drop, you must take it out. You understand? Same thing if a piece fell in. For instance, let's say you have not a wet meal, dry meal, rice, let's say, rice. The rice is, you cooked it with the butter, so it's dairy now. And a piece of meat, dry cold cut, fell from someone's mouth into the dish, right? The dish is 1,000 times more than this drop, but you see it. You can take it out. So you take it out with some rice, you shave the place. Same thing, fish. I'll give you an example, a fish. You went to a Chinese guy, you bought a fish from him. Which fish? Tuna or salmon, kosher fish. You see the scales on the bottom of the fish. You see the scales. But he cut it with a knife. A minute ago, he just cut shrimps with. What are you going to do? You allowed to eat or no? Yes, you're allowed to eat. What do? You wash it first of all, very good. You wash it. Take the sharp knife, you shave it a little bit. The top where the knife touch. Why? Because it's cold. He cut it with cold. If he would cut it with boiling knife, or the fish that he cuts was boiling, then he is not allowed. Why? It's observed. But once it's cold, only a little bit from the shrimp went on top. So once you rinse it, right away it goes. To be safe, you shave a little bit from the top, and it's kosher. You can serve it to Rabbi Ovadia. Yeah.
Dropping something dairy or whichever way, does heat matter there?
Of course. Everything when it comes to heat, change all the rules that I say. Why? Because heat, it observe. Same thing, I give you an example. You had a piece of cold cut and a piece of yellow cheese, cold. And you ate them together. What sin you made? From the Torah or from the Rabbanan? Rabbanan. But if it was melted cheese on that cold cut, it becomes a sin from the Torah. Why? The Torah say, "Lo tevashel gdi b'chalev imo." You cannot cook together meat and dairy together. Heat it up, boil it together. If it's, as long as it's raw, cold, no problem. So it's from Rabbanan, because Rabbanan always made the fence a little bit further, that you don't make a mistake and a minute later you eat something, it's a sin from the Torah. So there are 3 restrictions. You're not allowed to cook it at all, even for Chinese guy. Not allowed to cook it. You're not allowed to have McDonald's. A Jew cannot own McDonald's. Cannot. But he said, what do you care? I sell in Harlem. In Harlem, no Jews buying McDonald's, cheeseburgers. No Jews over there. Or I don't know, in Pennsylvania, in Texas. I don't know. Whatever. Find a place there's no Jews. What do you want, Rabbi? No Jews are there. Or maybe one in 50 years. Not allowed to do it to begin with. It doesn't matter who is going to eat it. Just to do it as an experiment and throw it to the garbage, it's a sin from the Torah. So you understand that there's one restriction to do it together, to cook. Second, to eat it. It's another restriction. And the third one is to sell, to enjoy from what you did. Finally, when you made it, you say, oh, I made a mistake. So now I want to sell it to the goy. At least I save my $20 here. It's cheese and cold cuts. I don't want to lose it. So what do? You go to the guy on the street. I just cooked that dish. Here, give me $20. It's yours. Not allowed. If he gave you the $20, it's a sin. That's why the Torah repeated 3 times. Comes the oral Torah, teaches the secret. Hashem doesn't repeat same sentence 3 times in the Torah just because he feels like it. There's a secret here. What's the secret? You're a Jew. You have an oral Torah. You open 1, it's for cooking. 2nd is to enjoy from it, business. 3rd is to eat. 3 different restrictions. Yeah.
What if, for example, you're on Shabbat and you have, if, let's say something dairy fell into the charm pot,
Yes.
it wasn't 60 times. But now there's nothing else to
It's
do.
always 60.
No, but let's just say, you have a big problem now.
Okay. You're not allowed to eat from it.
So it isn't starve with it, you can't.
Now, if it happened accidentally, I didn't say that you're not allowed to sell it or to get the money worth of it, because it's happened accidentally. Whatever I said so far was intentionally. A person cook it intentionally to sell it to a goy or whatever. That's not allowed. But if you, by mistake, 1 drop fell in, or you leak from the roof, I don't know what, then it is allowed. He's not going to lose the money. It's bal tashchit. But to eat is not allowed. So what is he gonna eat? A bread. Tuna can. Open a tuna can. It's mitzvah to eat respectable food on Shabbat. But there are mitzvot that are much more important, and sins that we do every second that are 1,000,000 times more important than this. Sometimes a person, I'm only going to eat tuna and bread when I'm out of New York. What am I going to eat on Shabbat? I'm going to take a little bottle of grape juice and eat some bread and tuna and some salads? Yes, as long as it's kosher mitzvah. You're out of your house. You don't have what you want. So you eat bread that is from 2 days ago. What's the big deal? As long as it's kosher. Hashem knows you on the road. We are very strict when it comes to our stomach. God forbid we won't eat meat or no fish for Shabbat. I have a guy, tzaddik. Don't get me wrong. He has a sickness. He must have a Moroccan fish on Friday night. He's so addicted to it that every time he used to surprise me that he wants to come for Shabbat, and if we had different fish, but we didn't have Moroccan fish, he wouldn't be embarrassed 2-3 hours before Shabbat to make me or my wife go get fish, raw fish, and recook it for him without any embarrassment. No fish for Shabbat, I can't come. Yes. Also, that guy, by the way, never got married. Guess why? He's 45 by now, in my opinion. Never got religious from birth. Why he doesn't want to get married? Why? Because all the girls he was ever offered were Baalei Tshuva, not religious from birth. That means they were with another man in her life, married or non-married. He doesn't want. Even though the head rabbi, the head Sephardi rabbi of Israel, maybe 15 years ago, told him, I never knew you more tzaddik than Yoshua ben Nun. Yoshua ben Nun, who did he marry? Who was the wife of Yoshua? Huh?
Lady who put the silence on.
Rachav, the biggest prostitute in history. How many women you know in the Torah highlight? Rachav Hazonah. Rachav the prostitute. The famous one that the whole world knows about her. Who married her? The one who took Moshe Rabbeinu's place. When Moshe wanted his children to inherit him, and there were so many Chachamim in the generation of Moshe that had prophecy, and Hashem said he is the one who deserved. And he married her. However, there's a catch here. He never had children. Nobody knows the reason. But nowhere in the Torah it says that he made a sin, marry her. So the rabbi, Alav Shalom, Rav Yehuda Tzadka, big tzaddik, passed away many years ago. He told him, you're more tzaddik than Yoshua ben Nun. So I told him, no. Why didn't you listen to him? He said, it's in my head. That's it. I suffer all my life. I can't. You never know. Hashem knows the reason why. All right, let's continue. If you want a person to tell you all his sins, let's say you want to get out of a person all his hidden sins, do you know any way to do it? Who has an idea how you do it? We can't read the mind of a people, right? Even in a lie detector, it will take forever because you have to go to every scene and ask him, are you Mechalel Shabbos? No. The machine shows yes. Are you stealing? No. The machine shows yes. Are you eating non-kosher? No. The machine shows yes. But it will take forever. You have to ask million questions. There's so many things to do. Are you learning enough Torah? Yes. The machine says no. But how many questions? Right? You can't ask him, are you doing any sins? Everybody does sins. Biggest people in the world make sins here and there, unfortunately. Cannot. It's not a fair question. So you have to go to each one. But there's an easy way. I'll teach you a trick. Not that you can do it. It's not so practical. But at least you know it's possible. What's this gula? Did you ever hear a way of convincing a person to tell you all his sins? So when he sleeps, you take eggs of a fox and you put it on him when he's sleeping. You put it on his stomach, on his chest, whatever. And when he gets up, you begin to ask him the question, and everything automatic. All of a sudden he's in a mood of confessing. He confessed to all his sins. Maybe he thought you're the priest. Father, I see, you know. But anyway, that's a sgula. He begins to sing all his sins. Then you know who this person really is. Then, the next question. A person that have a life risk, a patient, he has a life risk. And they suggested that he will eat a non-kosher chicken because they believed at that time, it happened in a generation of the Rambam 850 years ago, that it's a sgula, it's able to cure him from his sickness, eating a non-kosher chicken. They asked this question to the Rambam, and the Rambam says, if it's only segula, it's a spiritual belief that it can cure him, he's not allowed to eat it. But if it's a medicine, if the doctor says that's the only way to cure him, to eat dog, his life is in risk, it's pikuach nefesh, he has to eat dog. Like the Gemara says, a person that was beaten by a dog that have rabies, how do you know? He walked crooked. The Gemara gives signs. He walked crooked, saliva dripping from his mouth, his ears are down, his tail are in between his legs, right? And he walked in the sides of the road. The Gemara gave the signs of how do you know if a dog have this disease or not. And this is contagious, you know. If a person was beaten by the dog, today we have all kinds of ways to do it, you know. Louis Pasteur, you heard about him? His real name was Chaim. He was a Jew in yeshiva in Paris, in France. So he made himself a professional name, Louis Pasteur. Why we call the milk pasteurized milk? After him. He found that when you heat the milk more than 80 degrees Celsius, which is about 100 and something Fahrenheit, American degrees, that kills all the germs inside. Also, by the way, it keeps the milk stay longer. The same thing, grape juice that you buy, Kedem, it's all cooked. How you go to Costco and buy a grape juice, 5 months is on a shelf, in a storage. How? Make grape juice in your blender, maximum 24 hours, it's going to be sour. You open it, sounds like seltzer. How do I know? I did it in Pesach for Arba Kosot. 24 hours, even if most of it was in a freezer, only a few hours it was out. To defrost, already it was spoiled the next day. How it stay for a year, 5 years, 10 years, it can be on the shelf? Because they cooked it, they boiled it, it kills all the germs, they seal it, finished. Okay, that's the secret. So now, he invented the medicine for rabies. But that's a lie. Why? Because when he was learning Gemara, one time his Rebbe told him the Gemara. The Gemara says that if Chas v'Shalom, a Jew was beaten by a dog, what do? You feed the Jew from the liver of that dog. That's the word of the Gemara. Of course, the Gemara always speaks in very short ways. What does it mean? That means you take the liver of that dog. That's where all the bloods are, right? The blood that has all the germs, the rabies disease. and you take from it and inject into the body of a person and you cure him from the same thing, but it's not kosher. How can you do it? It's a life risk. Life risk, you're allowed to eat a rat if that's what's going to save your life. You understand? So the question is now, the Gemara says that you're allowed to do it. So he found out that the medicine is in the same thing that got him the sickness. So he took the germs and he injected it in, and that's how they found the medicine for rabies. You know, I'm sure you heard about it before, no? Okay. So the same thing here now. The Rambam say, if the chicken itself will save his life or whatever, in this case the chicken will not save him in any way, but if there is a certain food that it's not kosher, but for sure it's checked and it's guaranteed that it cures a disease that can create death, then it became kosher. The Torah say you're allowed to eat. If, by the way, it's also have a spiritual segula and it helps, also fine. Also fine. But just because of segula to eat it, you're not allowed. Here we learn another rule now. There's another question in the halacha. You know, in the old days they used to write kamea. You ever saw what a kamea is? They take a card like mezuzah and they write with a feather all kinds of things on it. Names of angels, names of demons, all kinds of things in certain ways. And they tell a person, put it on your body and this sickness will never touch you. Okay? So the question is, what happened in the old days when people used to eat fish? It wasn't filet, nice, clean, like you buy it, it's clean from bones. People had to clean the bones, one by one. It's white, you don't see it. Especially there was no electric. They have to do it in the evening at home, they do it with candles. It's very difficult to clean. And it was very common that people got shocked. One bone went into the throat, there's no way to take it out. And a person begins to die. They had a way that the Kabbalists used to take right away. They take a feather, they write a special name on a card, they put it, I think they put it in the water and let the person drink it, or they put it inside on the body of the person. Right away he begins to cough, and that bone comes out right away. Guarantee, always working. I want to ask you a question. If it happens on Shabbat, to write on Shabbat, you lost your olam haba in a second. You wrote 2 letters, finished. It's like lighting fire. Chilul Shabbat, to write 2 letters. 1 letter, it's not stoning. 1 letter, it's not Chilul Shabbat from the Torah, only from Rabbanan. 2nd letter you wrote Vav, you write the 2nd Vav, finished. It's 2 letters and up. But now you have to write 20 letters to save the life of a person. You're allowed to write on Shabbat. Some of the poskim, they asked them this question in Shabbat. They used to run to the Chacham and he wrote it on Shabbat. So the question is, this is not real medicine. It's gula. It's like a magic. There were ordinary cases. I mean, most of the time it worked. But there were some cases that it didn't work. Hashem wanted this person to leave this world. Not every magic will help. The question is, are you still allowed to write it when there's no guarantee it's going to save his life? Technically, the answer should be yes. Why? When we take a person that got hit by a car on Shabbat to the hospital, what are the chances his life will get saved? Sometimes not even 1%. Are we allowed to drive now for 20 minutes in a car when every second it's like 1,000,000 cigarettes? We drive to the hospital, we carry him, we go through the alarm, the electric door, whatever the case is. We do 20 different sins of Shabbat to save a life of a person, 1 to 1,000. Mitzvah. He died in the end. Lo aleinu. Count for you a big mitzvah. All this mechilul Shabbat. So why not here? So a lot of the poskim allow it. To write, to save his life. Look at the power the Chachamim had. He writes a name in 1 to 3. A person cough and the bone comes out. We'll move on. There is a Gemara that in the future to come, the chazir will become kosher, the pig, the pork. Why his name is chazir? How do you say return in Hebrew? Choser. Choser. He will return to become pure, kosher, whatever you want to call it. How? We have another Gemara that God forbid to think that one law of the Torah will be changed ever. The Torah is the word of Hashem from the beginning to the end, and it will never change. How do you explain the contradiction? Who has an idea? No?
If they're going to involve and change, the body's going to change.
Very close to the answer. No? The answer is like this. עתיד החזיר להיות מותר לישראל. Jews will eat pork in the future. It will be kosher. Why? The Torah, we know the Torah will never change. So the Ben Ish Chai writes, not what's special about the pork, the pig? In order for an animal to be kosher, it needs two signs: split hooves and chewed cuds. A pig, which one of the two signs he has? Split hooves. He doesn't chew his cud like a cow or a cow or all the other animals that we eat. He doesn't do it. So the Torah warns us from 4 animals, from billions of animals. The Torah named 4 unique animals that have one of the 2 signs. Shows you it's divine Torah. Nobody would know. There's only 4 animals unless if we created them, right? It's a secret right there. But the Torah say, don't make mistake. The pig may fool you. You come, you look at his legs, you say, oh, here you go. He doesn't chew his cud. So the Ben Ish Chai writes, Ben Ish Chai says, not that he will change, not that he will become kosher as it is. Hashem will change the nature of the pig, which means one day after Mashiach come, you see that the pigs will begin to chew their cuds. You see, you come to the pig, what happened today? You're moving your mouth. It becomes kosher. The Torah never changed. You still need 2 signs. The pig will change. Understand? Now it's no problem, no contradiction. Any questions so far before I move on? I have a lot of chidushim for you, but we have only 5 more minutes. No, we'll steal one more. Yeah.
So the Torah, it says, it's written a lot, like in the Gemara and all that kind of stuff. It's written a lot of things that you do, like
right,
like shave with a razor and all that stuff. It comes
right.
Eating with the pig. What's going to happen with all that?
Shaving with a razor will always be not allowed.
I'm saying a lot of avirot like that, for example.
No, comparing it to the pig is just the way of the speakers. The lecturer like to use it because when you tell a Jew, would you eat a pork? God forbid. So he says every time you shave with a razor, it's counting like 5 steaks of pork, which is not a lie, because there's 5 places in a face that each one it's a separate sin. So that means one shaving, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places in the body. It's like 5 different sins. It's like eating 5 different hamburgers in McDonald's. 5. For one shaving, which he does it every 2 days or something, understand? So he gives people idea, it's such a foolish sin. You can shave with a machine, electric machine, not lift and cut, or haircut machine, or anything like that, or creams. They have creams, mishi, all kinds of creams that they put after 20 minutes, the face, it's like a baby face. Women are allowed to shave with razor. It's no sins. Yeah. Women are allowed. Why? Because women don't have beard. That's why the Torah allowed them. You understand? And if they have, they're allowed. Let's give one more thing. One last thing for today. Is a Jew allowed to sacrifice his life to save a Jew that he likes very much?
No.
His friend from college. He brought him a lot of pizza to the room. He wants to be grateful. Someone wants to kill him, he jumped to die instead of him. Take me, don't take him. What a gentleman, no? Allowed or not allowed? Not allowed? The Torah says, Chayecha kodmim. Your life is more important than your friend's life. What happened if he's Rabbi Ovadia? Or one of the important Rabbanim of the community? Big Chacham? That's already a big question in Halakha. Some says allowed. Has to. Not allowed. Must sacrifice his life to save the Chacham. But I want to ask you this. That wasn't my original question. It's not allowed to sacrifice your life just for another ordinary Jew. 1 for 1, not allowed. What happens if they tell you we're going to kill all of them. Say, kill me, leave them alone. Here, I come out. The goyim are looking for you. You know, if they're not going to come out, they're going to kill all the community. You're allowed to come and sacrifice your life to save them, because there are many and you are single or not. I'll ask it like this. What happened? One Jew is hiding inside the shul, and the Nazis are knocking on the door. They're looking for him. He did not pay taxes. They want to kill him. He owed the king money, and they're looking for him, and we know where he is. You know, he's hiding in the ceiling, above the ceiling. And they say, we give you 5 minutes, and there's 100 people in the shul. If you turn the Jew in, we leave you alone, we take him, we kill him, that's it. If not, we shoot all of you.
Does he turn himself in, or does...
We have to turn him in.
Oh, that's a different...
What do you say?
Save everyone.
To save everyone. Normally, what the question is this? Of course we have to turn him in. The answer is we're not allowed to turn him in. Jew not allowed to turn the Jew in. So what's the answer? But he has to turn himself in to save us. And if he doesn't do it, he's liable for our lives.
So that's not the
He
option.
doesn't do it.
But what if that's not the option and he's not going to
Or he
do it?
doesn't even think about it.
Doesn't do it.
He doesn't even know about it.
You can tell them, you can come in and take him. Look for him. If he's here, take him. We're not going to fight you here. We sit here, we do nothing. Let them do whatever they want. If they grab him, they catch him, no problem.
That's the rules. You turn him in or we kill these hundreds of people. 2 rules, that's it.
We don't know where he is. Come get him. Look, search all over. Find him. We wish that you find him. We don't want to die.
Start killing all the people, then what?
Bad problem. This question, by the way, it's not black and white. Many books were written on that question. Time is up because we have 10 or 10. Look, I have about 8 full pages and I didn't finish half a page. So we have a lot of stuff for the next lectures. Bezrat Hashem. Thank you very much.